Some mornings, everything feels so perfectly peaceful you almost forget the world can turn upside down in a blink. I stepped out onto my porch, cold morning air biting at my face, coffee steaming in my hand, and took in the sight of my land, 50 acres of rolling pasture and woods my grandfather carved out of nothing but willpower and sweat. This place isn't just property to me, it's home legacy, the bones of 3 generations. And yet, in the space of a single heartbeat, all that peace got shattered by a single slip of paper fluttering in the wind. Not a bill, not a note from some neighbor. No, this was an official letter, Willow Creek Homeowners Association, big fancy seal and all. One I'd never joined, never paid, never even met. And according to that letter, my entire ranch, every fence post, every blade of grass, the barn, even the pond had been designated as community property by a vote I wasn't invited to for reasons nobody could explain. My fences unauthorized barriers, my fields open for recreation, and me, the 3rd-generation owner, suddenly an outsider on my own land. I stood there with that letter in my hand, angry, shocked, honestly kind of dizzy. What the hell was this? How could a handful of strangers just vote away everything my family built? That's when I realized this wasn't a clerical error. This was a takeover, just hidden behind bureaucratic nonsense. Didn't even get a chance to finish my coffee before a white sedan rolled up my driveway tires crunching on gravel. HOA logo plastered on the side, making it look like some government official. Out steps this woman, round face, lips pursed up tight blazer, straining at the seams. 2 board members behind her, dressed up like it's Sunday service and not a single callus on their hands. Didn't need an introduction. People like this, you can smell the sense of entitlement before they open their mouth. She comes at me with that voice sharp clipped like she's reading my name off an arrest warrant. Mr. Monroe, I'm Margaret Dawson, president of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association. We sent you a letter about the land transfer. That word transfer rolled off her tongue like she was announcing a ribbon cutting, not stealing a man's home. I just crossed my arms and let the silence hang, watching them squirm. Folks like Margaret don't get ignored often. She clears her throat. We'd like to discuss the next steps, she says, smiling like a snake oil salesman. Your land has now been incorporated into the HOA due to long-standing community use. We'd appreciate your cooperation removing any private property signs or barriers. I couldn't help it. I let out a laugh loud and sharp. So you're telling me a vote gives you the right to just take my land? She keeps that sugary tone. The community has agreed. There's historical precedent. One of her board members pipes up. I've walked your east pasture many times. Gorgeous view. I shoot him a look. You trespassed, you mean? Margaret laughs like it's cute. Once land is incorporated, community members can use it responsibly. It fosters unity. I take a step closer, just enough to make her look up at me. Let me get this straight. You and your friends voted, and suddenly my land is yours. She tilts her head, still trying to sound reasonable. It's a community decision. You should help with the transition. Like I was switching cable providers, not fighting for my family's legacy. Before I could answer, a silver SUV pulls up and a family of 4 piles out, mom, dad, 2 kids, golden retriever. They wave at Margaret and stroll right into my pasture. Hey, I yell, striding after them. What are you doing? The dad looks at me like I'm trespassing. The HOA opened this up for recreation. Not a chance I bark. This is private property. Leave. Margaret tries to smooth things over, placing her hand on my shoulder like we're old pals. Jack, this is exactly what we mean by community enjoyment. I shrug her off. More cars arrive, picnic baskets, grills, folding chairs, like I'm hosting a carnival I never agreed to. I snap. Everyone needs to leave. Right now. Margaret widens her eyes, all faux innocence. Jack, let's not be hostile. If you cooperate, this'll go much smoother. I'm not cooperating, I growl. You have 5 seconds before I get the hose. That finally gets their attention. The community backs off, loading up their SUVs with their dignity in tatters. Margaret glares at me from her car window. You'll be hearing from our lawyer. I just grin. You'll be hearing from my shotgun. I knew this was just the opening salvo. Didn't sleep a wink that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I pictured strangers tramping across my pasture. The next morning, it started all over again, a minivan full of kids for playgroup, a yoga class, teenagers with a drone, even some guy with a barbecue smoker parking next to my barn. Each and every one brandishing some HOA announcement like it was the law of the land. By noon, I'd turned away a dog walker, a guy with a metal detector, and an entire family who swore the app said this was a public space now. I quietly started taking photos, cars, faces, license plates, anything that might help in court. That afternoon, Margaret showed up again this time, in a white Lexus, sunglasses big enough to hide her conscience. "Mr. Monroe, we've had complaints about your behavior," she announces. "You mean protecting my property?" I shoot back. "The board voted, the community wants this." I cut her off. "You really think a vote lets you steal my ranch?" "We already have," she says smugly. I step in, voice low. "This is my land. Anyone steps foot here without my say-so, they're trespassing." She smirks. "Not for long," and drives away. I pick up the phone and call the best lawyer I know, Curtis McGraw. He's the kind of man HOAs whisper about behind closed doors. "They're claiming my ranch is community property," I tell him. Curtis whistles. "That's not just overreach, Jack, that's grand theft." He lays it out. "I need evidence, cameras, fences, signs. And if I'm willing a little legal voltage in the fencing." He's right. I head to the county office, dig through the property records, and find Margaret's forged annexation paperwork. Her name, no owner's signature, all made up. I print out copies, march straight to the HOA clubhouse, and slap the folder down on her desk. "Open it." She goes pale as she realizes I've got her nailed real property records. Her fake forms photos of every trespasser and a bill for 20 years of HOA dues. "You owe me $212,000, I say, dead serious. Margaret and the board lose their cool. "The board won't stand for this," she squeaks. "Then you'd better figure it out," I reply. For the first time, I'm back in control. But Margaret isn't the type to give up. Next morning, I'm at the hardware store before sunrise buying electric fence wire, motion lights, cameras, warning signs, the whole arsenal. Cliff, the owner, just laughs. "HOA, giving you trouble." "Worse," I say. "I've got a Karen on my hands." He grins. "Then you need the heavy-duty stuff." I wire the whole ranch, electric, legal, posted every 20 feet. No sooner do I finish than a black sedan pulls in. HOA's lawyer cease and desist in hand. I don't flinch. This is my land. "Next time you visit, bring hiking boots and a waiver." That weekend, Margaret doubles down, a parade of cars, music grills, kids with kites, the works. She grabs a megaphone. "Welcome to our first official Willow Creek community picnic." Right up until a jogger slams into the electric fence. Zap! He goes flying and all hell breaks loose. Chaos, screaming, barbecue sauce everywhere. Margaret tries to demand I shut it off. "Perfectly legal," I say, sipping my coffee. "County code." Word spreads like wildfire. The neighbors realize Margaret lied. She faked documents, saddled everyone with extra dues and liability. Suddenly, I'm not the villain. The board calls an emergency meeting. The clubhouse is packed. Margaret tries to wriggle out, but I show her signed confession to everyone. In less than a minute, they vote her out, fired, gone, done. Next morning, moving truck outside her house. I watch her pack up from my porch, feeling nothing but relief. A few days later, the board comes knocking. "Jack, we need a new president. We want you." At first, I think they're joking. But they're dead serious. If you take the seat, you can dissolve the HOA for good. Now that's tempting. 5 days later, I'm elected nearly unanimous. First thing I do, walk up to the front, slam the gavel, and say, "The HOA is hereby dissolved." The room goes wild. Cheers, hugs, actual tears. Real freedom at last. That night I throw a barbecue, no rules, no forms, just neighbors celebrating. Curtis shows up, laughs, says not every day someone topples an HOA. We eat, drink, watch the sunset glow over a land finally at peace. For the first time in months I can breathe. No one's ever taking this from me again. Later, alone on my porch, under a sky full of stars, it finally hits me. Sometimes the biggest threats don't wear ski masks. Sometimes it's a signature and a little power that puts everything you love at risk. If you don't stand your ground, people will take more than you'd ever believe. So here's my message. Know your rights, fight for what's yours, and never let anyone bully you off your own land. If you've ever had someone cross the line, if you've faced down a Margaret of your own, tell your story below. Where do you draw the line between authority and abuse? And if you got a kick out of this saga, make sure to follow for more wild HOA tales. Because around here, karma always finds its way home.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video của mình.